You need a small everyday carry. This camera will give you more opportunities to shoot and create small stories from everyday moments. And by the end of this video, you'll have a new method to grow as a photographer and a tiny cam in your cart. Today I'll be showing you pictures from October alone to show you that my Ricoh has allowed me to take photos for every moment around the month. My first picture should be coming from Sleepy Hollow, but due to terrible parking situation, I had to audible and go to maybe the world's smallest pumpkin patch here in Jersey. So my centerpiece for the day at the pumpkin patch was this big tree with ghouls and scarecrows hanging from it. I felt that it was very nice because it fell straight in the middle of the entire pumpkin patch and everything fell nicely around it. So the centerpiece of the picture were the decorations. I decided to put it slightly above the horizon line, but that you can still see that it is definitely the main focus of the picture. And I wanted to leave a little bit of the tree at the top so that it could feel as though it was stretching from bottom to top, while still fully seeing the ground and highlighting those orange pumpkins on the blue palettes, and also having a few people on the inside to show that it wasn't an empty space and that people were occupying it. So I also decided to turn around and highlight the 8-foot skeleton, fully made out of plastic. I really loved it because it was towering over me, so I could get a lot of the sky with some tree in the background. And when pairing these two images together, they still correlate and connect because of the same type of lighting coming from the side. Of course, for the tree, the lighting was coming from its right side. For the skeleton, it was coming from its left. It still had the changing trees in the background of the skeleton. So it was a connection of theme here, connection of color, connection of lighting. And I think that they work really well together because one is a wider, further back shot with a portrait that's so much closer. The next day we decided to go to a winery. I personally do not like wine, but I do understand a great opportunity for a photo when I hear one. At this Pennsylvania winery, there was a barn, a bar, a warehouse. I don't know what it was, but its rustic design with its green and rusty oranges really blended well with the grass, and then once again the changing of the trees. And I knew that I wanted this to be a center point because I could get a dead on shot, and it was just really pretty to me, to be honest. And pairing that with these canvas shaders of some sort, I don't know, but they were above and they had this great flow. They were triangle shaped, so it's not one blanket, but they were just layered very well, and it allowed the stripes of the cream and the blue to go multiple directions and be bigger in the forefront and then a little bit smaller in the middle ground. And then of course now it's framing the barn, bar, warehouse in the background. And I even lucked out with two people that were in their proper stride at the right, and I really like this picture. I don't have a portfolio for photography yet, but I think that at least in the early stages, this was a really good picture for a street photography mindset. And then once again, I turned around to try to get a second shot looking over the area. And behind me was the vines for all the grapes and the wine. It was very simplistic, but I think that the noise from the first picture allowed the simplicity of the vines to work a little bit better. The one thing that I think isn't perfect about this pairing is sadly the horizon line. I think that the vines are a little bit higher, or maybe they're the same, but because there's nothing in the middle, it feels a bit blank. But I do like that the tree is still peeking into my photo, much like the canvas material that was coming from the first shot. And I feel like they echo each other in some way. Of course, there's some missing elements, but that's what makes it an even balance visually. So going back to earlier this October, I went to the Met Cloister. And honestly, this was the scariest place out of all the places that I went to. But it did balance itself out with beautiful lighting and great photo opportunities. So I don't read the name of anything when I go to a museum. Honestly, I just look around. So I don't know what the name of this artwork or piece is, but it had 3 busts of ladies sitting in the front. Then I was lucky enough to have 3 ladies in the real world stand in front of this while I was trying to take a picture, spreading themselves out with 1 on the left and 2 on the right. I think that it created a great alley for the view straight to the item itself, but not only that, them all looking at it together and being in unison. And I think that the natural lighting highlighted this. I think it was more the moment here that allowed me to make a great photo than technicality and overthinking composition, but it truly did work out. And another beautiful shot that I got was from the room prior to it, where I still have those 2 ladies standing in front of the bus, and I have another lady standing to the left reading whatever message or description that has described the rug that's on the wall. Peering in, I think that the light is a little bright when it comes to going into that next room, but it is clear enough that everything works out there. And they were really cool pictures in a very interesting place that was the first time I ever went to. While going through this video, I hope that you've seen a theme. I love diptychs. So that just means taking 2 photos or maybe more than 2 photos and having them sit next to each other to tell some form of a story or build some type of theme or anything like that. And I believe that this helps with photography 100% as well as a small camera, because diptychs make you shoot more, they make you think a little bit harder, and it also makes you understand what connects to photos, whether it's color, whether it's emotion, whether it's size, whether it's anything, to create a contrast image and understand also the balance of one form of visual interest versus another. If I showed you 2 crowd shots and it was too busy, you wouldn't know what to focus on, you wouldn't know what to hone in, and that's something that you have to learn. But I think that when you have this method of a diptych, it teaches you several things at one time, and it just makes you better overall while still being something fun. It doesn't feel overly limiting. It doesn't feel overly difficult task to do. And I really love it. So I wanted to express that with you. I wanted to see if you feel the same way, or have you ever thought about taking pictures with this type of mindset in mind? I hope that this now puts a tiny camera into your cart, and you also have a method to go out when it comes to street photography. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you like the channel, subscribe. But if it's neither of those, just watch another video and maybe I can convince you to become a part of the team. I'm out, y'all.